Welcome back to the Dahlia Society, everybody. And today I think you guys will probably remember from the last episode, which I had a fabric haul. This is the beautiful faux silk fox print that I had no idea what to do with. I had some wonderful people give me suggestions on what to make. The fabric to me really said some sort of robe or sleepwear, and the fabric isn't terribly soft fabric for it's faux silk, but it's got almost a suiting or like a textured linen feel to it. So on the underside it's very silky, and on the outer side it's a little bit more rough. So I thought rather than pajamas or a nightie, that the robe would be the best option to go for. It's got a little bit of structure. And the Helens Closet Suki Robe was a perfect option there. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'll pop some pictures up of me modelling that. And I also decided to go for a nightie to wear underneath it, which I adapted from the Ogden Cami, the True Bias Ogden Cami pattern. And I actually lengthened that to make the chemise style nightie, which I think turned out really well. A lot of people have made dresses and pinafores in that style as well because it's such a good basic easy pattern. So I used a lovely silk to make that, like in a burgundy silk. It's come up beautiful. And because of the inner lining of the Ogden Cami, it gives it that little bit of structure as well. So it just keeps its shape really, really well. So happy with that too. Now we'll talk a little bit about the Suki Robe. It was firstly released as a Suki kimono. A lot of people have renamed their kimono style patterns into other names because of the cultural sensitivity with the word kimono. Because a true kimono is not actually a robe. If you look into the history of the garment, there's a lot of sensitivity around the actual naming of kimonos. So I think it's great that everyone's got on board there and renamed their garments. So the Suki Robe is actually a really lovely, easy beginner. It's more of an advanced beginner, but I think definitely a beginner could tackle this because there's not really too much to think about. You've got a lot of pieces that are quite large pieces, easy to put together, and the instructions, Helen's Closet's always really well written, very, very easy as far as visual guides go too. I never have any trouble understanding the way she's written things there. So I've popped on and downloaded her robe from the website. So I've got all my pattern pieces in here, and I've gone for the longer version because I had 3 meters of the 150 width fabric, so I thought, why not make the longer version? And I have actually got intentions of making the shorter robe in a cotton lawn in the near future, because for summer, cotton lawn is a lot lighter. Silks and satins are lovely and cool to the touch, but they don't breathe as well as a natural cotton. And yeah, as I say, more practical, sometimes cotton to wash and wear as well. So it's nice to have a version of each. The thing I love, the features I love about this, one of my favorite things is the ties around that they actually stitch on the back. So you know how you have robes and they always have the tie that goes missing, or you'll have a robe without a tie. You'll have about 10 ties in a drawer and not match them up because they've gone missing over the years. I love that she's given instructions to actually sew the tie to the back, so in 2 separate pieces on the back. And I'll pop some little video footage of me showing that as well. So you're never going to lose your tie with this. And they have got loops on the sides as well. I'll stand up for a minute, give you guys a little look. And you've got your little loops there. You've got your tie on the back. And you've also got the inner tie that will keep the garment all tied together as well. So a really well-designed pattern, very practical. It's not going to fall open when you're doing your housework or you're running around in the morning getting ready. I made an extra large because I didn't mind if it was on a tad bigger side, because I don't like a robe that's not going to do up. Of course, I want the full coverage. So even though I've got quite a lot of room around the neck here, I would rather that than have it too sort of gapey and not wrapping around enough. So extra large is what I went for. So yeah, 3 meters of the fabric. And you'll see on her pattern requirements, on her fabric requirements there, that it depends on the width of your fabric to how much fabric you need. So look very carefully at your width and your size, because if you've only got a 115 width fabric, you're going to need a lot more. And also directional print. That's one thing I had with this, with having the foxes all in the one direction. I had to make sure my directional print was working the same way. So especially on the cuffs, you know, if you're making a cuff and you're folding it in half and then you're stitching it to your garment, you've got to make sure that you're not putting it on upside down. So be really mindful of the print and the direction, because things like that can really make or break a garment. And I'm sure you've been there with, like I have in the past, where you've done a dress or a skirt or whatever, and you've looked and the pattern's all been running upside down. So nothing more annoying than that. So the sizing with this, extra small to extra large. And I didn't realize a lot of Helen's Closet's new patterns, I actually commented on this in a previous episode, and I didn't realize that if you open up your printing in the Adobe version, the Adobe Acrobat Reader, you can actually choose your layering option, and you can choose what size you want to print. And it's very easy to do. So that way you can cut a lot of your extra paper usage out. If you're not cutting out the extra large or up to the size 30 or smaller than that, you can actually hone in on the size you want, and it makes it really easy to cut the pattern out because you've got less work to do there. So fabrics this can be made in a rayon, a poplin, any kind of lightweight cotton or lawn or voile, satins, silks. Can you imagine how beautiful a pure silk one of these would feel on you, on your body? Because of course silk's just lovely and luxurious to wear. But if I were you, I would be making a twill first of a cheaper fabric. Make sure you get the fit right, and then invest in a beautiful, more expensive fabric. That way you'll know you're going to get the right fit for the pattern. Now with this, I didn't bother using interfacing because this is quite a structured faux silk. So if you have a really lightweight fabric that you know is going to stretch and bag out and lose its shape, don't forget the lightweight interfacing. So really just be a judge on your fabric and look at the composition and the weight and what you might need. You know, you might need interfacing, you might not. That's really up to you. I think it's a perfect item to wear for Christmas morning and getting up if you're wanting something a little bit more special to wear. And also a fantastic gift to make. I mean, who wouldn't love to receive one of these for Christmas or any kind of special occasion? And it's the sort of thing that you could quite easily whip up over a weekend or a couple of hours at night, but not have to worry about fitting issues, because to make a garment as a gift, you've got to make sure you don't have fitting issues there. So you can make it in quite oversized and be able to get away with that depending on who your person is that you're sewing it for. The Ogden Cami Nightie, which I'll pop photos up of that as well. As I said, very easy to make. I ended up just using some extra paper and continuing out the line of my pattern and the curve of the hem as well on that. And I just, basically hope for the best there, because I knew the pattern had fitted me quite well in that. And yeah, it turned out perfect. So I actually always make my straps a little bit on the thicker side than what it does say there. And especially for a nightie, because you don't want it to be slipping off your shoulder as well. So look for something a little bit more of a fluid drapey fabric than a stiffer satin. As I say, I wouldn't have made the nightie in the same fabric as it would be too structured. So a silky drapey fabric of any kind would work really well for that. I even think a lightweight rayon jersey would be great in an Ogden Cami. Maybe you have to size down a little bit because it will increase the size on that. Be a great thing to wear to bed to sleep in. So yeah, it's a lovely little ensemble to either give someone as a gift or to make for yourself for something a bit more special for the Christmas season. So why not spoil yourself? I think it's lovely to spoil yourself for a Christmas occasion because, as I say, self-care is a big part of sewing, and I think it's lovely to make yourself something that you wouldn't be able to find in a store. I know there are a lot of things like this around the stores, but when you look at the quality that they're made of, they're not always the best quality. And if you are looking at something of a higher end of quality, in fabric, you can be paying up to $100 or more just for the chemise nightie and without even having the robe. So it's quite an expensive investment. So I think to make it yourself, not only can you indulge on a more beautiful fabric, but you can actually have something that you can make a lot cheaper than what you would buy it in the stores. I'm going to run you through a couple more sleepwear patterns that I'm actually really interested in making in the future. One, of course, is the ever popular Carolyn pajamas from Closet Case. I think that would be a fantastic set to make, and I have got that planned in the future. I get a little bit hot in the summertime, so I tend to go more for the nightie style, but I think even to make the shorter style pants would be a great option for summer. And you guys in the Northern Hemisphere, of course, you could make it in a beautiful warm flannelette fabric, or something like a brushed cotton. And I think always go for an oversized pajama. I would always tend to go up than down because you want it more for the comfort than for the fit and structure. So definitely upsize in pajamas. Another lovely little pattern from the Australian company Sew to Grow Patterns is called the Night Garden pajamas, and that is like a little chemise style top with the pants or the shorts you can make. That looks like a beautiful wide leg style pajama pant, or more like a loungewear outfit. You could even wear that just around the house for a lovely warm day. It's going to be nice and cool to wear. And as I say, you could throw a little robe on top of that as well. Don't forget too, there are free patterns on the Peppermont website. There is a Peppermont kimono style gown, and also there are boxer shorts on there as well, which are unisex. I think a lot of people are making them for gifts, and you can do it in a cotton or a satin. So don't forget, for a free pattern, that's fantastic value. Look on their website. There's also this Style Arc loungewear robe that looks like a very practical, easy to wear robe, and Style Arc patterns are very, very accessible. They're all downloadable. Style Arc, don't forget, you can choose your size to print out, or you can choose a multi-size pattern. So they're giving you the options there as well. So that looks like a really easy, practical robe to wear as well. Another gown I've seen for quite a while is the Vogue 9232, I think it is. Now, I think a lot of people look at this and think, bit Grand Marie, but I love the fact that you can put a zip in the front of it, and they're more of a caftan, like an easy wear caftan that you can wear around the house. You could also wear it coming out of the pool if you wanted something really practical out of the pool or the spa, or even at the beach. You could make it in a lot of different fabrics, and the thing I love about this is you can make it in stretch fabrics. It does say on the pattern that you can make it in a fleece. Now, how beautiful and cozy would that be in a fleece for winter for you guys over the Northern Hemisphere? Because it could be cozy. I think to have the zip be fantastic. A lot of those fleece style gowns that you buy usually are either a big wrap, which can be very bulky when you're wrapping it around, or button front. And a button front's pretty impractical because you'll find that they'll just pop open. The more you wear them, they loosen up. So to have a zip front, you could make it in a really stylish fabric. As I say, a lovely fleece, a French terry, really anything lovely and cozy would be fantastic and practical. Also for summer, for us over here in the Southern Hemisphere, you could do it in a lightweight cotton as well. So yeah, having a zip I think is a fantastic option and something a little bit different. So that's the Very Easy Vogue pattern, and everyone knows that I love Very Easy Vogue patterns because they're just excellent to make. I hope this has inspired you to either make this as a gift for someone you love, or make it for yourself to show yourself some love. I think it's a beautiful pattern and a beautiful ensemble to wear as well. Definitely easy make. As I say, I made the Ogden Cami, the Nightie, really quickly because I've made it before, and I really know that just from memory how to make. I think the Suki Robe is a brilliant pattern. It's got a lot of coverage. It wraps around beautiful. She's put a lot of detail into the pattern itself, the fit of it, and just the finish of it as well. So definitely look into the Helens Closet Suki. And yeah, I love the fact that you could really embellish and finish off the trim. You could do that in a coordinating different fabric as well. You could pop piping on there as well. You could always do piping along the facing bits on the front. You could add a different color tie. You could really get quite creative with your fabric choices and your coordinating choices. So be a bit bold if that's what you're after. And don't forget, look into all your different fabric types. I think even a rayon challis would be beautiful and lightens as well. Now, in one of my latest episodes, I was talking about the Going Places dress by Pattern Emporium. I put a little bit of a poll up on my YouTube community page, and it was out of the green velvet, the black ponte, or a printed pink and red print. And I think the overwhelming response was 70% for the green velvet. I've actually had a lot of trouble getting the green velvet. It's coming, but as far as I know at the moment, it's still in transit. So if I don't get to make that for Christmas, bear with me. I will either make it out of something else, or I may have it made a bit later on. I did make one for my daughter for the Carols by Candlelight with a green velvet panne, but because of the nature of panne velvet, it's a lot more of a drapey, lightweight, stretchy fabric. So it's really not the right fabric to make for this dress. But because she's only a tiny little thing, she's a size 6 to 8, I decided to make it a bit more oversized for her to have more of a drapier fit. So the dress itself looked gorgeous on her, but it's not really exactly how the pattern was intended to look. So I would prefer to make one out of the intended fabric to show you guys the actual fit of that. So if you end up seeing one out of a different fabric, you'll know that that's why the poll. I know everyone wanted that green velvet, but if I can't get it, I will promise to make you something similar. Well, hopefully you guys get time to have a little bit of a wind down before the silly season begins. As I say, it's getting very busy in the shops at the moment, and a lot of people are struggling to get all their shopping done. So if you can get a little downtime at the moment, that would be wonderful to show yourself a bit of care. So thank you for stopping by today. And also don't forget to do all the things. Click subscribe and like the page if that's what you've enjoyed today. Thank you for watching today. I'll have a new episode very shortly coming up, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.